Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. All right. We finished up today with some kata. We did a lot of kata work. We did some bag work, some punching and kicking. We did kicking drills, blocks, and line drills. All right. Felt good. It got me centered. I feel very balanced right now. Whenever I do my kata and practice and get really into it, it sort of balances me out. It puts me in a state of peace and tranquility. All right. So, having said that, today I want to talk about this topic. It's going to be called, Are You a Slave? All right. And the reason I bring this up is you'll hear a lot of these online influencers use the term, you're a slave. Okay. You're a slave to going to the gym. You're a slave to the diet you eat. You're a slave to basically everything. All right. And I believe who started this, I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure the term has been used before. This guy named Sparage. He's the guy that eats the meat, and from Germany or whoever. I don't know much of. I do know what this guy is about, though. He's about getting your attention and making money off by being controversial and saying out and doing outlandish things. What that is a tactic. It's something to draw you in, and then you'll go, oh yeah, it's called a form of brainwashing and manipulation. All right, I'm very familiar with this type of manipulation that people use. They can manipulate it to get money from you. They can manipulate you to the point where you'll even let them into your house and sleep, and you'll feed them. And he's done that. All right. But I don't want to make this about him. What they're trying to do when they say you're a slave, they're trying to make you feel that you are a slave, and they possess the secret of not being a slave, and that they have a wisdom that you don't have. You know what that is? That's total horse shitters. They're horse shitting you. They don't have nothing. They have nothing that's better than you. And you are not a slave. You know why? Because the very people say that you are a slave or point fingers that we are all slaves, they're slaves themselves. The richest man in the world, Elon Musk, is a slave. We're all slaves to a certain degree. And what I mean by that is this. If you're a human being and you're in this bag of skin, all right, you got to go take a shit. You got to eat. You have to sleep. You have to do things in order for you to get up every day and survive in this world. So in essence, your biological organism is making you a slave to do these things. You see what I'm saying? How ridiculous and ludicrous it is to sit there and say we're slaves. We're all fucking slaves. Every single one of us is a slave because we're in a human body. And until you're in this body, you're going to have to abide by the way your body makes you function. All right? If you break a leg or you go sprain your leg, you're not going to be able to walk. So are you a slave because you broke your ankle? You see how stupid that argument is? We're all slaves. The richest man in the world is a slave. He has to get up. He has to worry about where his money is. He has to worry what people are doing. He has to worry if people are screwing or fucking him. We're all slaves, but we're slaves to degrees. All right? The person that's not a slave is the person that realizes that there's no way out of the trap. Do you understand that? Think about that. There's no way out of the trap. All right? And once you understand that you can ride the bike, and when you ride that bike, which is life, you let go of the handlebars and say, look, mommy, no hands. That's when you've reached perfection. When you just let go and not worry about all the chatter and bullshit. Do you get what I'm trying to say? If that resonates with you, if that can reach your brain. So there is no slave. You are not a slave for going to the gym. You are not a slave because you choose to live a certain lifestyle. It's what you choose and what you get when you get this life. You get this life and you do what you want to do with it. You don't need someone else saying that you're a slave and that you're the slave of this and you're a slave of that. Sparridge is the biggest slave because he has to put on this thing in order to eat because he doesn't want to work. People that don't work are just as much slaves as people that go to work because they've got to rely on other means to get money, to get food, and and that in itself is a job in itself. So I'm going to tell you a story, okay? And it's going to pertain by people that don't go to work, all right, and think that by not going to work and letting the other people work their asses off, that they're getting away with something and they are not slaves. This is a story. I love telling stories. I am from Italy. I'm from a small town. I'm not going to say where, but I'm a small town from Italy. All right. We were born there. My dad told me a story, and my dad told me many stories, and my dad was a very wise man. All right. He told me a story because I complained when I was a young man. We had a restaurant and I complained of working and I didn't want to work. But anyway, I'm getting off the topic. So anyway, my dad tells me this story, in other words, to make me understand that it doesn't matter what kind of work you do or what you do in this life, you're still going to be the same. So here's the story. My dad was working at a mill, and this was during a wood mill. You know, they cut wood, and it was during the war, just before the war, all right? And during that time, all right, it was very, very scarce work and jobs, and people worked their asses off. So my dad went to work at this factory, all right? They cut wood and they supplied the machine for the military and blah, blah, blah during that time for wood products, you know, and firewood, you name it. So he worked in this mill and he worked his ass off, all right? Everyone did. And they got very little pay. They ate like shit. They got shit food at the end of the day. So as they're working, he noticed this guy in the mill that put a 2x4 on his shoulder. And it was so chaotic because there's a lot of workers and people are coming and going, carts rolling, hand trucks, people sawing. You get the idea? It's a very chaotic scene. This guy would carry a piece of wood on his shoulder and just walk around. That's all he did. He just walked. He walked to one end and came back to the other end. And my dad noticed this guy. And during one day, after my dad had been there for a while, they were having lunch, and my dad says, "Hey, I noticed you walking around with that block, that 2x4 on you." And the guy goes, "Shh, don't say anything. You'll blow my cover. I've been doing this," and he laughed. He goes, "I don't do anything around here. No one knows what the hell I'm doing. They think I'm doing something, but I go around," and he bullshits with everyone, so he's getting out of work is what he's doing. He's cheating the system, all right? And he thinks now he's superior to the slaves that are working in there, all right? They're the slaves and he's not. You get it? So he's carrying this fucking piece of wood around, going around and around this mill. And my dad said, "I'm not that type of person. I'm not going to snitch. Let the guy do whatever the hell he wants. That's what you do in life too. You let people do what the fuck they want. It's not your place to snitch people out or any of that crap." So my dad works his ass off. A foreman got sick. He got fucked up. Something happened to him, one of the foremans. And my dad had a high production. My dad said he was cutting wood and loading up the trucks better than anybody. So they called my old man in there. And they said, "Do you want the position? We will give you this position. It's a little bit more responsibility, but it comes with more pay. We will make you the foreman of that section of the shop. Huh, what's he going to do? My dad said, hell yeah. My dad was married with my mother, and they barely made ends meet. So my dad takes a job. So they have a meeting the next day, and everyone's there, and guess who's there? The guy that carries a piece of wood around. And they announce it. My father, they said he's going to be the new foreman. The guy, my dad said, the guy turned white as a ghost. Because my dad knew what this guy was doing. He was onto his game, and he goes, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job. This guy's going to either snitch me out or whatever. My dad didn't say one word. The day started, and the first thing, within the first 3 hours, the guy that was carrying the block around with him goes up to my father and says, oh, don't fire me, please. Please, I won't do that anymore. I don't want to lose my job. I got to bring money home for my family. It's, you know, how horrible, how bad it is out there. The war was going on, the whole 9 yards. Are you ready for this? You know what the old man says? My old man says to the guy, oh no, you're not going to get fired. I'm not going to discipline you. And the guy goes, well, what do you mean? And he goes, I want you to do a job for me. And the guy goes, what's that? Anything. I want you to do the exact same thing that you've been doing every day, and you do it. I want you to grab that piece of wood, and I want you to walk around the whole mill all day long with it. In other words, don't change a thing. Do what you've always done. Walk around with the piece of wood. And that guy's eyes, the old man said they came this like big silver dollars. So he did it. He lasted 2 weeks, and he got the hell out of there. You know why? And I'll tell you why. Because now that he has to carry the wood, and that's his job title, and that's what he's supposed to do, then it becomes the job. You get it? It becomes the job, and now he can't fluff that off, because after a while carrying that stupid 2x4 around is going to be the same kind of work, and you're going to go nuts and bored out of your mind, because that's what you have to do. That's human nature. When you're forced to do something, it becomes work. So in reality, we're all slaves. So don't let anyone tell you, like this dipshit Sparrow and these idiots make you think. And it's just not him. It's many other ones out there. All right. It's the gym culture. It's the workout people. They got this routine, that routine. Everybody's got the wisdom to send you down the yellow brick road to see Oz, to see the wizard. And the wizard's going to miraculously give you what you want, what you lack. If it's brains, courage, just like in the show, in the movie. You get it? No one's got a secret, all right? And everybody is a slave. So when someone says you're a slave, that's bullshit. They're slaves for saying you are a slave. They're the number one slaves. If you go to work, all right, I don't care if you're a dishwasher. I don't care if you're a sweeper. I don't care if you sweep out and clean out toilets. You're a dignified human being for going to work and doing it. And doing the job. It's unbelievable. Here we have in this country, and many westernized countries, like people that live in westernized civilization, all right? You're richer than most people, and go to Bombay, India. Go to places that are desolated and just nothing to eat. I've heard stories of in India and Bombay, they're eating out of trash cans, people, because they don't have nothing to eat. They have nothing. They're dirt poor. And they're skinny as shit. They don't have no nourishment, nothing. So when you're in a civilized country and you're getting your food, you're doing better than almost everyone. So every type of job that you do, whether it's a street cleaner, a toilet cleaner, you are a dignified human being because you're going to work and you're putting in the labor. Doesn't matter what you do. It's because you have the dignity as a human being not to live off other people. You're taking care of yourself and not have to leech off a system and have people feed you. Now, don't get me wrong. I have nothing about helping people that are truly, truly disabled and cannot work. I'm not saying that, but I'm talking about people that are able and can work, like the guy carrying that piece of 2x4 on his shoulder. If you can go to work, then you need to go to work and not think about, oh, I'm a slave if I go to work. And then I'm going to close this video with this. Another thing this guy does is, oh, that's not nature. He goes, that's not nature. Okay, that's not part of nature. Well, let me tell you something, my friend. You live in a civilized world. This is the city. You got brick buildings, you got electricity, you got things here, you got warmth when you come out of the cold, you got air conditioning when it's hot, you got a stove to cook on. That's called civilization. It's called modern civilization. It's not nature. Nature's out in the forest, if you want to get technical. So I suggest that when you people say it's not nature, get in a fucking airplane and get someone to drop you off on a Tom Poon, you know, those planes that go in the water. Have them take you over in Alaska or up into Canada, down in the deep forest, and drop that asshole out there. That fucking guy that spirits. Drop him off out there if it's not nature. See ya later, bud. And live in nature. Bullshit. They'd be bawling like a baby out there. They all talk. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty, it's all bullshit. They're pulling your leg and they're horse shitters. He's got to have to worry about getting fucking eaten up by bears. There's no food out there because it's dead cold. He's going to either have to fucking hunt something because he doesn't have no skills. So when you say it's not nature, fuck you. You're not in nature. You're not in nature. And no one's going to go out in nature unless you've been out there and you're some kind of tribe out there that you've been raised that way. You haven't been raised that way. So when you use the argument, oh, it's not part of nature, and let me tell you about nature. Nature belongs to man. The earth is populated by human beings. And guess what? We have authority over this world. We are the fucking keepers of this earth. Oh, and you say no? Yes, we are. We build dams. We have constructed the earth in order for us to continue to grow our population. That's why we have trains, buses, people to take people to work. But oh no, you people will say, oh, well, those are the slaves going to work. Horse shit. Those slaves that go to work are the reason you got food in the markets so you can go fucking eat it. If you didn't have the slaves, guess what? You wouldn't have anything. Do you understand that? You wouldn't have your clothes because there's people not making it. So what are you going to be, King Tut, and not be a slave and commander of the world? You see how these people, the mentality of these people, it's a sickness upon mankind that will destroy civilization and destroy the world. All right? So nature, there is no nature. The nature is where you are, and you make it where you're at this point in time where you sit. If you want to be and rough it, and you say you want to leave society, by all means, get the hell out of here. Go and get taken into the woods and live out there with the bears, the wolves, the coyotes, whatever, the mountain lions. Go live with them and be part of nature. Don't talk shit and put everyone down. They're slaves. They're this, they're that. You're talking horse shit. And you know what? After you keep barking this horse shit, No one's going to listen to you anymore because they're going to figure you out. This is what all major cults do. They work on you. They fucking try to brainwash you, and they try to make you join and be part of that fucking system. So they have control over you. That's what they do. So I'm going to end on this. You are not a slave. If you work, it doesn't matter what kind of work you do. You should take pride in what you do and be damn proud wherever you are. If you're American, be proud to be an American. If you're a German, be proud to be a German. If you're English, whatever it may be. If you're Canadian, be proud to be where you are at that point in time where you sit, because that's where you were born and that's where you're meant to be. I know I've ranted here, but I had to get this out because some people need to get straight. They need to get their heads cleaned out of the minutia. And I don't usually get into these type of philosophical discussions, but I had to get this one out. My upbringing is very, very different than most people. I trained in different types of things growing up. And I don't want to get into, but I will tell you this. It's different than what culture has been brought up here. So I have some insights. I'm not saying I'm a know-it-all, and I'm not saying I'm some guru wisdom, but I'm going to tell you, if you ask me, and you ask me something, and if I don't know it, I'll tell you I don't know. And if you ask me something, and I do know, I will tell you my true feelings about it and the truth about it. I'm not swindling anyone here. All right? I'm not trying to pull the wool over your eyes. So, I'm going to end this video by saying this. Are we slaves? Fuck no. Adios. Have a nice day. Ciao.